You're watching the Kansas City Chiefs Report, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. It is time to drop our sack on this mailbag edition of the program, and this comes from our live show from Tuesday afternoon, where we reacted to your questions in real time. And you may be saying to yourself, man, I would love to be a part of a mailbag segment. Well, you can too. If you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, you'll be the first to know when we go live and when we have new content here on your Kansas City Chiefs. Lock us in. Subscribe now for free. Stay up to date with the latest happenings on your favorite team all year long right here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Subscribe now. You'll be glad you did. We begin with a $2 super chat from Darcy, the first super chat since I've taken over this program. So, Darcy, you will always hold a special place in my little heart. $2 super chat says, go Chiefs. I agree. Go Chiefs, baby. Thank you, Darcy, for that $2 super chat. Brittany Mahomes checking in. How the kids doing, Brittany? What are your expectations for Nick Bolton this season? Brittany, great question. So, Nick Bolton, he was talking a while back about how the thing that he's focusing on, that he's working with Spags about, is that he wants to create more turnovers. And that was something he did not do in 2023, as he did not have a single forced fumble. He missed on a couple of interceptions he could have had. Although Nick Bolton's been very good to start his career, there's still more out there for Nick Bolton. And we've seen kind of the haters and the losers doubting Nick Bolton's abilities, but I have no reason to think, if he's healthy, that Nick Bolton can't be a top linebacker in the National Football League. I think he's that good, but there's still a step for him to take forward. And I think we're going to see Nick Bolton take that next step forward this year and be one of the leaders of this defense. I have high hopes and expectations. I think it's going to be a big year for him, and you'll see him not only as just a guy that gets out there and makes plays and creates those turnovers that he's looking for, but I think he's going to bring that vocal presence as well to this Chiefs defense, and I think it's going to be a big year for him, and he's going to prove why he deserves to be in Kansas City for a long time and get that extension. Do you believe in Nick Bolton? What do you guys think? Be honest with me. Are you all in on Nick Bolton? Weigh in. Type B for believe, D for don't. Chime in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. You choose two or more players in any given category. Get the choice of more or less. Whether you are talking fantasy points, maybe it's home runs in baseball, maybe we're talking passing yards in football. You can choose from all sorts of different sports: football, basketball, baseball, golf, auto racing, and more. And here's what I got for my entry on Prize Picks. I'm looking ahead to the start of the football season. I got our guy, Patrick Mahomes, to have more than 5,299.5 passing yards this season. And I got Marvin Harrison Jr. to have less than 83.5 receptions. I think he has a good year, but 83.5, that seems like a lot. If I put $20 down on this and it hits, then it's going to turn into $60 on Prize Picks, folks. Play along with me. PrizePicks.com/SaleAtS. Promo code SaleAtS for a $100 deposit match on your first entry. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. PrizePicks.com/SaleAtS. Play along with us today. You'll be glad you did. Rob Riggle writes in, will the King win the starting left tackle job? You know, I got to tell you, Rob Riggle, I certainly think so, and I hope so. He's been fantastic so far here in the Chiefs offseason through training camp and what he's done, competing with Wanya Morris to be that starting left tackle. And it's interesting because if you look at the numbers of what he did at BYU, according to Pro Football Focus, his grades weren't that great, but they don't really tell the full story of his capabilities and what he can bring to the table. To me, I think he's a good fit for what this Chiefs offense is looking for. And, you know, I don't think this gets said enough. Reid, he's an offensive line guy. It starts with the O-line with Andy. And Andy's not messing around if he's starting a rookie at the left tackle spot. That means he's got a ton of confidence in Kingsley if he's going to be his starting left tackle. And that means that Kingsley's going to be expected to play Not at a rookie level, but at a high level. So for me, yes, barring injury or something catastrophic, he's going to be your starting left tackle, and he's going to be pretty good. I think you're going to like what you see from him, and it's going to be a good year. If Andy Reid's all in on him, then I'm all in on him too. Will he start week 1? Will we see the King starting at left tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs when the season begins? Type Y for yes and for no. Weigh in. Let us know what you think. Next question. Jordan writes in, should the Chiefs sign Juju SmithSchuster, cut Toney, and trade Skyy Moore? Very good question, Jordan. As far as signing Juju goes, it really all depends on the money, right? I'm not looking to pay Juju $10 million. If he's willing to play for 5 or less, then we could potentially have that discussion. But honestly, I think Juju's cooked. I thought he was awful last year in New England. Granted, he didn't have a ton of help. He was injured a bit, had to deal with Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi throwing him the football. So I'm not paying a lot of money, at least, for Juju anyway. Cut Toney, yes. Sign me up all day to cut Kadarius Toney. Kadarius Toney is a liability. This Chiefs team last year was better without him. Even with as bad as this Chiefs receiving corps was last year, all right, they were still better without Toney on the field. So I'm cutting Toney definitely. Trade Skyy Moore. I'm not ready to give up on Skyy Moore yet. And you're not going to get a ton in exchange for Skyy Moore. I would like to see Skyy Moore at least get one more shot and see potentially what he's made of. I think it's a little bit too early. Year 3, I'd give him one more shot and see what he does before I'm cutting my losses on Skyy Moore. But great question there, Jordan. Toney writes in, before week 1, what can KC bring in? Well, we did a whole video on this earlier this week talking potential trade targets. And, somebody mentioned Juju. That's a possibility. Amari Cooper is on the trade market as well. Matthew Judon, Hassan Reddick is out there, Marshawn Lattimore. There's a ton of names. If the Chiefs are interested, if Brett Veach wants to go get one more piece, then he could potentially do so. And the Chiefs have the cap space to do it, about $17 million. You got some extension candidates to take care of, like Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, and others. But honestly, I think the Chiefs are still another move away before the season starts. I would be shocked if the roster you see now is what it is when we get this season going here in a few weeks. I think they're still got one more move in them before we get this thing going. Cole writes in, how long is Hollywood Brown expected to be out? So, as I've said previously, I am no doctor by any stretch of the imagination. But hearing from the experts of what they've described with his injury for Hollywood Brown, it sounds like that he's looking to be out somewhere in the range of 4 to 6 weeks. And Andy Reid didn't rule out the possibility he could play week 1. I'd be surprised if he played week 1, but this is going to take time. And I know what some of you are thinking, like, hey, what if Rasheed gets suspended? Then the receiving corps is going to be pretty bleak when the season begins. And I understand all that, but be patient, folks. Remember, this is not about getting to January. This is about getting to February. You don't need to rush Hollywood Brown back. Wait till he's fully ready to go, and go from there. There's no reason to rush him too quick. I think that he can have a nice year, but he's got to get healthy first. It's going to take time. Hopefully he gets back soon, but no need to rush things. I think about 4 to 6 weeks. Last question in the mailbag from Darcy. Darcy wants to know, going to Arrowhead for the first time on my birthday for the home opener, what are the chances we win that game? Darcy, first off, happy early birthday to you. Should be a lot of fun seeing the banner go up for the Chiefs Super Bowl there against the Baltimore Ravens. And I like the Chiefs' chances. I think the Chiefs get a win there against Baltimore week 1. This Baltimore team's going to come in hungry, right? They're looking for some type of revenge from that AFC Championship game. And this Chiefs team, I think they kind of pick up from where they left off last year. And we saw this team really kicking into gear when it mattered last year. They're even better than what they were a year ago. They'll have the home field advantage and all that. I think they're going to be locked in. Last year, that opener against the Lions, when you raised the banner and lost that game, that left a sour taste in everyone's mouth. I don't envision them letting that happen again. I expect the Chiefs win in the opener. Thanks for joining us here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Subscribe now for continuing Chiefs coverage, and we'll see you next time.